Fast navigation is the key to a successful page. That's a fact. Studies show that, and I'm going to show you how you can achieve instant navigation in Next.js. So we fix the most common problem, master the concept of prefetching, and I show you why you sometimes should prefer a slow navigation to save money. And speaking of money, let's hear a quick word of today's sponsor. The big problem of AI apps is that they go stale pretty quickly, because AI is trained on data that is anywhere in the past, and Firecrawl fixes that. Your data will be up to date, because Firecrawl turns any website into LLM-ready data that is clean, structured, and can handle heavy JS sites. You can use Firecrawl for scraping, searching, or crawling. All developer first, easy to implement, and batteries included. Start free and scale up when you need it. They are the #1 when it comes to coverage per provider and quality per provider. Check the link in the description or scan this QR code here to power your next agent or app with Firecrawl. So what is the biggest problem when it comes to Next.js navigation? Why do people say on X that Next.js navigation is slow AF and that they go to 10 stack start now? Here's the reason. Let's take a look at this link, and when I click it, nothing happens. I see it's rendering here, and then we get to the page. So the navigation here is slow because my page, my slower page, might be fetching data or is doing some heavy operations or whatever leads to the fact that it just takes some time to show up. And the reason for that is simple. See, I have here sketched out something with Excalibur. I know it's not the best, but it will help us why this takes time in Next.js. So we have the client and we have the server. You should know how this works, right? The client sends something to the server and the server responds. Cool. Then we have CSR apps. CSR stands for client-side rendering, and is basically default React, for example. So in client-side rendered apps, if we send from the client to the server and the server responds, the navigation happens exactly here when we click the link. But the problem with SSR, server-side rendering, is the following, and that's what we have in Next.js. We as the client send our request to the server. This takes about 20 milliseconds dependent of your location, but maybe 40, maybe 80 milliseconds. The server responds and then the navigation happens, because that's how server-side rendering works. Your page is rendered on the server and not on the client. So we can't navigate if the server has not responded with the actual page. And that's why there's so much hate out there. That's why so many people say Next.js is slow AF. But of course, there are ways to fix that. Let's take a look at it. So this is the component we just saw, just a basic link. And this is the component we are routing to. So this directs us to /slow/slower. Yeah, this is basically just another page TSX file. And here we await some fetch, some data. This is now just mocked. I just wait 2 seconds here. And the problem is the navigation happens after these 2 seconds, as we already saw. So I click the link, nothing happens, and then we get to the new page. And the fix for that is so simple. Because what do we want as a user? We want that the page feels fast. It should feel fast. I don't want that I click a link and nothing happens. That should never happen. So here's the fix. We just go in here and create a loading TSX file. Create a simple loading page here, and you just return whatever beautiful skeleton you want to return. And that's already it. Now we have this link to a slow page, and when I click it, I instantly see something happening. The page is loading. So I don't have the feeling that the page is not working. And that's the easiest fix. You want to always show the user something when he or she clicks a link. That's a solution you need. So you can use a loading TSX, but what a loading TSX basically is a suspend boundary. So we talk about React suspense boundaries. That's the future. You have to put React suspense boundaries everywhere, especially when you work with the new cache components. If you want to know more about them, click this link. I hope I don't forget it, and I hope I point in the right direction. I have no idea. So you could also bring this code into a subcomponent and then wrap this component with suspense. It will be the same. Another reason why your navigation can feel slow is basically that it is dynamic. You always want to have as most static as possible, because static is fast, dynamic is slow, but up to date. So we want the best of both worlds, right? That's what the new cache components is doing. But basically, we have this def indicator here, and you can always see if the route you're currently at is static or dynamic. Okay, so we learned how to make Next.js navigation fast, and we learned what determines if a page is fast or not. But did we really? Did we really made our page faster? I mean, sure, we have instant feedback here, but this still takes the same time. Our fetch is still taking 3 seconds, for example, in a bad scenario. How can we improve that? How can we make the page actually faster? And the solution for that is prefetching. Prefetching can make your app so much faster. Like, you just add prefetch true, but actually this is the default. So in Next.js, it's defaultly prefetched. Your links are prefetched. That means if they get into the viewport, so if the user can see them, they are prefetched. And prefetching just means that the page is loaded. So if you navigate to it, it already has finished loading, so you don't need to wait these 3 seconds. They already have been awaited while you were on the other page. So that's what prefetching is doing. But don't make this one mistake, because there's one big mistake with prefetching. Let's see this page here. I have a page with a lot of items, and all these items are actually links. So I can click them and get navigated. There's a problem. This is not great. This is actually horrible. You see that when I open the DevTools and go into the network tab. Let's refresh the page, and you already see we have a lot of fetches in here. And if we scroll down, you see, there's every site being prefetched. This is actually prefetching here right now, live. That's not what you want. You don't want that all these links are prefetched, because that's expensive. Like, these are a lot of resources here. And of course, I'm not clicking every link here. So yeah, how can you avoid that? Sure, you could just say prefetch false to all those links. Then you lose prefetching. And that's also maybe not what you want. But there are more possible ways here. You could, for example, use hover triggered prefetch. So prefetch when the resource is actually hovered. So you look on mouse enter, then you set active, and active is used to set prefetch. Or you could do something that is a little bit more extended. You can build your own link and then use libraries like Foresight, which prefetches links by predicting the direction of the user's cursor. I mean, you can do some awesome things with that, for sure. Okay, we're pretty far into the video, and I have one last tip for you. One thing that you should always do. We have this link here, and these are dynamic pages. So if I navigate to them, you see I get to a here /19. So this is a slug, an ID. And in Next.js, that looks like that. So we have this ID square bracket folder here, which is now a dynamic route. So we can say props of type page props, and then we can get the params. And that's the way how we can get the ID. If you wonder what this page props is, I explained it right here in my last video. So what you should do, always if you have a dynamic route in Next.js, you should, okay, now he's already telling you, you should use generate static params. So Next.js wants to know, hey, what can ID be here? In my case, just numbers from 1 to 100, but Next.js has to know somehow. So what you do is you create this function. It needs to have this name generate static params, and then you fetch all your data, and then you just return this ID, or if it calls slug, you return slug. Then Next.js knows that and can prefetch it at build time, so your dynamic routes are now static. So tip 1, use loading TSX or suspense boundaries. Tip 2, use prefetching and look for extended prefetching, or maybe disabling prefetching if it can get expensive. And tip 3, use generate static params. That's how you make navigation in Next.js fast. Watch this video here if you want to know more about Next.js middleware, or watch my last video where I talk about TypeScript tricks in Next.js. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye bye.